Hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori and I am your host, and I have a fellow female golf podcaster with me today in town.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. I am so glad we scheduled this, got it going. We're going to go have a bite to eat later. We have Abby Liebenthal, founder of Fore the Ladies, here, ready to chat all things golf.
Always.
How's it going?
Here. It's good. I love visiting Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Especially when the weather's like this. We have a little bit of a heat spell going on, and it is delightful.
It's so nice.
Because I have a feeling it's leaving soon.
Okay.
So we are going to enjoy it.
During the tournament.
I know. The Phoenix Open is coming up. Actually, this episode is going to drop the Monday after the Phoenix Open. So hopefully they've dried off because it looks like it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's a fun week for people, so hopefully it just clears up. Yeah.
There's a lot of sometimes high heels stuck in the mud when it gets a little rainy at the Phoenix Open. Have you ever been?
I have.
And what was your experience like?
So I went for work, and I was working at Titleist at the time, and it was very fun, but like I wasn't enjoying the atmosphere as much as others were. To me, it's like that tournament and the players always reminds me like people who don't pay attention to golf every day of their life can really enjoy golf those weeks. And like if that's it for them, like that's okay.
So I didn't realize the players had the same kind of similar atmosphere.
It's like pretty party.
Really?
It's just not all contained. Like you get those visuals of, is it 17?
The 16th hole. Well, really, at this point, it's 18, 17, 16.
Yeah.
It's expanding the stadium.
Yeah. So it's just not the same as that. I mean, at TPC Sawgrass, they certainly have the Island Green 17, but there are like little pockets of like party areas. And you're like, oh, like this is fun. Like people are here just to party. And like, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You know, let me ask the question. I actually ask this every year on the podcast during the Phoenix Open time, because it's here, it's present. People are going to golf tournaments. What would you tell the woman that says, what do I even wear to a golf tournament? What would you say?
I always love wearing like a active dress, like one of the Outdoor Voices dresses that has like the Spanx underneath, the shorts underneath, and then sneakers, and like always packing some sort of layer.
Yeah.
I just think like you can be super comfortable. You can sit on the grass. You can be running around, like whatever, and you're going to be comfortable and cute. There are moments where I will say like I kind of like to like wear just normal clothes. Like not golf apparel. Yeah. But I think it depends on what like access you have, which sounds so snobby, but like if you have access to hospitality, like you can wear pretty normal clothes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if I just bought a general admission ticket, which is very possible, like I want to be more comfortable.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends.
And I have to remind all the listeners, too, that might be attending a golf tournament for the first time ever. The shoes are what's most important.
Sneakers, flats.
You are walking.
You're walking.
So much.
The whole time.
The whole time. Like, if you're going to wear the shoes to Disney World, then you can wear it to the golf tournament. Because that's how much you're walking.
Yeah. Yeah. But like no heels.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you're going to see a lot of them, but that doesn't mean you should.
Especially at the Phoenix Open. There will be a lot of them. And let me tell you, when it rains at the Phoenix Open, it is a sight.
Yeah.
That's when actually I do go just to watch the people.
Yeah.
And not the golf.
The chaos.
It is quite something.
Well, good. I hope it's great. I hope people have a good time.
And the U.S. Open, speaking of tournaments, the U.S. Open is coming to Pinehurst this year, which you are a resident of Pinehurst.
Yes.
So what is the town doing to prepare for that? I mean, really, I feel like Pinehurst was made for the U.S. Open. So it probably just is like a click and play at this point. But
yeah, I think so. I'm not really on like the operation side, but I mean, there's little things just as like a resident of Pinehurst that you notice, like there's a big roundabout that everyone complains about in the town. And they've added like cones so people don't like cut each other off. And you're like, this is prep.
yeah.
And then, gosh, I mean, a lot of like, infrastructure, not super exciting things quite yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you are right. Like it's amazing that you could walk from the 18th hole of number 2 and then walk into the village of Pinehurst. You don't need a car to get in between. So it really is like handmade for it. Kind of like the old course in St. Andrews is kind of made for that space too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pinehurst Open was at number 9 this summer. What's the new course that just opened?
The new course that's opening is number 10.
Oh, okay. It hasn't opened yet?
No. They've done some preview play, I think.
Maybe it was 8 got renovated.
It did, yes.
So have you played 8 since it got renovated?
And I like it a lot more.
You do?
Yes. It's much more open. They took down some trees that I think were like obstructing views and things like that. The greens are much faster now. But it was not my favorite course to play. And it's become a lot more enjoyable from my perspective. Yeah.
And so 10 is the one being built right now?
It's finished.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. And that was designed by Tom Doak. But the woman who was like the main assistant architect is Angela Mosier. And she really was like boots on the ground building that golf course.
Angela Mosier?
Yes. You should have her on the pod.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure you've had her on the pod.
I haven't. She likes to resist going on podcasts, but I think you could do it. I know. I was going to say, like, I don't think you'd back down from a challenge.
Angela Mosier.
Yes.
What a rock star that I was unaware. So
check her out.
It was like the chief architect of number 10 or just...
Yeah. Like, I mean, she built that golf course.
Oh.
So yeah, and she's super cool. She's done a lot of work overseas, but only have good things to say about her. She's super cool.
And is your Pinehurst trip coming up soon? Don't you do one in March?
So it typically is in March, and we moved it this year to May. So it's actually only 2 weeks before the U.S. Open.
Ooh.
I know, but we're not playing number 2.
And it's called the Lily, correct?
Yeah.
So when is that? Well, tell us about it.
Sure.
And then you'll tell us when registration opens because I know it sells out in like 3 seconds.
So I don't want to get people too excited because we did sell out. So it
already went up?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I missed it.
Yeah. So it's in May. We did registration in like January, I think. December or January.
This year. Because last year I was like,
I know you were gun-ho ready. There's a wait list. They actually use the wait list for, I'm sure, as you know, like people drop out of stuff. Things, life changes. Yeah. And so spots become open. So they do collect a wait list. But so the Lily came out of, so I started Fore the Ladies in 2019 and we were really focused on golf clinics, playing events, etc. And I'm sure like you saw all these guys' buddies trips and you're like, why doesn't something like this exist for me and my friends and people I want to meet? And so Pinehurst was amazing and took this gamble on Fore the Ladies and said, sure, we'll do this women's golf trip with you. And so we hosted the first one in 2021. This will be our 4th edition. And it is every year we play different courses at Pinehurst. There's always 2 rounds plus the Cradle, which is the par 3 course. And then it always includes like a welcome reception, a dinner, some gifts, just like good vibes, as you know. Yeah.
So fun. Yeah. Which courses are you going to play this year?
Yeah. So this year we're on 8 and 5. Fantastic. So we always try to do one of their like marquee courses, 2, 4, 8, and then an additional course. And then people end up like booking their own golf, staying longer, doing
exactly
so much to do there. I know all the things. But we have other trips this year. We're going to Sand Valley in Wisconsin and Cabot, Cape Breton, and Ireland and Big Cedar Lodge.
Oh man, you say that so casually. Like those are
and there's spots available for those.
Okay, wait. Go through the list again because I knew you were going to Ireland.
Yeah.
But what are the other places? So Sand Valleys in Wisconsin. So where is that in relation to Whistling Straits? Is that
right? It's like I don't even know if it's like a triangle. I don't know what the shape is of Erin Hills, Sand Valley, and Kohler.
Okay, so
they're like all. I think you would probably fly into Milwaukee for all of those.
Yes, yeah.
Because are you doing a Whistling Straits trip?
Yes, we're doing Whistling Straits in June. And and I pretty much told everyone to fly into Milwaukee.
Yeah. We're doing the same thing. So Sand Valley, the trip is August 1st through 4th. And they, at that point, will have 5 courses and we're playing all 5. And then, the accommodations, all that good stuff. So that's August 1st through 4th. We're going to Cabot, Cape Breton, and you fly into Halifax to go there.
So that's Canada?
Yes.
Up in the northeast?
Yeah.
Is that
geography, man?
I know. That's why, I was like, I don't want to get this totally wrong.
You're right.
So I saw golf.com took a trip out there. I'm wondering if that's the same place.
I think that's right.
Yeah, right on the water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that trip
gorgeous.
it looks so beautiful. I haven't been yet. That is at the end of August, and we have like 6 spots left for that. And that'll be fun. 3 rounds of golf. They have 3 courses. Same deal, fun vibes, like me, as you know, like you just want people to like show up and have a great time, get to like play golf, enjoy the experience.
Yeah, we're there to
curate
it, make it a welcoming environment, facilitate people getting to know each other and making it comfortable. And hello, we're playing the sport that we love in the middle of it and having great food and wine and all of it.
Yes, precisely. And then the last trip is in October. I think it's October 18th through the 20th at Big Cedar Lodge, which is in Missouri. And I think most people will fly into Springfield, Missouri. Mm-hmm. St. Louis is like a little far. Yeah. It's like 3-4 hours. And that is the home of Tiger Woods' course, Paynes Valley. And
are you playing that one?
Yes. And Ozarks National, which is a Corin Crenshaw.
Okay.
So another super fun trip.
And is there spots available there?
Yeah. But that one we haven't even launched yet.
Oh.
Yeah. So, no, all that fun stuff.
So it looks like, including Ireland, it looks like you've really expanded your trips this year.
Yes, it's the most trips we've ever done. And that really just came out of like people wanting to be able to go.
Yeah, other options.
Like, why not? Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what the sweet spot yet is, but I figure
I don't know either.
We'll learn. Yeah.
I go back and forth because like you say, like it is a lot to take on.
Yeah.
So some nights because obviously it's in the middle of the night when your mind is going haywire where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to take it down 1 notch next year. Right. Or, when you get in it and the energy is so good and it's so high and it brings you so much, it makes you forget all those sleepless nights that you think to yourself, what the hell am I doing?
Yep. Yep. So, no, super fun.
And then remind the listener, too, about your clinics that you're still holding, throughout the entire country. How can they find and sign up?
Yeah, so all of these events you can find at foretheladies.com. This year, we are shifting a little bit and focusing on 6 key cities. Because last year, we hosted 127 events in like 40 cities. Like, it was too much. It was
and we did a podcast around then. I think it was in the episode 30-ish. I'll put it in the show notes. But I was like, how the heck are you handling this? It was quite something. It was very impressive.
It was great. It was like a very fun year. But I was like, this is not reality. This is not sustainable. But at the same time, I also wanted to make sure, like, let's provide a better experience. Let's make sure that we're like cultivating a community of people who like want to continue to play golf. Like, I wanted people to show up to events and like maybe see somebody they recognize and they're like, hey girl, do you want to like play with me next time? And have that kind of moment. So we're going to focus on 6 key cities this year and do at least 10 events in each of those cities.
Oh, well, that's a lot.
So, yes.
So you're kind of making it so that you're consistently there throughout the season. So so then you keep going back and you're seeing the same women and yeah. Okay, well, what are the cities?
Yes. I'm like, can I remember? Boston, Chicago, Charlotte, Nashville, New York, and Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you're staying geographically near you, too.
Yeah. I would like to get to everything.
Yeah.
Not every event, but I would like to get to every city.
Yeah.
Which I think is important, too.
And it's much easier when they're closer to you.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
It's just life.
Well, it's like Babes Golf here on the West Coast, they're in California and Arizona. It's like, yes, do they want to expand to other cities? Yes, but it's easier said than done.
It is much easier said than done. And we had some of our best events this year in places I'm not going back to this year. And that's like, it's always so hard, right? You're like, I hate this. Like, I want to go back. But I only went maybe to a city twice. And I'm like, is that really making any impact? Like, sure, I'm sure we introduce people to golf and like now they're like hooked or at least intrigued by the game. But if I'm not like keeping them in it, like that's not a good experience either.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with this. We'll see what happens. And yeah.
And for anyone that's like feeling inspired that they want to start something similar in their area, think of it that way. Like open something up that's fabulous in your area and maybe the surrounding areas and make it incredible.
Right.
Like there is enough to go around. You don't even need to expand to multiple destinations. Like make it amazing right there. Build your community.
And I feel like there's a lot of women, men, anyone. There's a lot of community groups that have done that in their own city. And a lot of like the Allied Golf Associations like partner with them, which is amazing. And I think that's just as powerful as like groups like ours that are doing them in multiple locations.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, we wanted to chat about kind of what we are excited about in women's golf right now. We are fresh off the PGA Show, which is electric in itself.
Yes.
And overwhelming.
Yes.
And like, oh my God, is this even a golf product? You never knew.
Right. You didn't know you needed it.
You didn't know you needed it. Or you look at it like, oh yeah, obviously these T signs have to be sold somewhere. Or the cups and everything. It's like, oh my God, it is so much at the PGA Show.
Yeah.
So what was your first impression coming out of it? What are you excited about? Let's start it off.
So I was really impressed by the increase of women's golf apparel brands that were there. I think that there was this I don't think there was this explosion of women's golf apparel brands that launched and only did direct to consumer, or they partnered with golf shops like Alexandra's, where they focused on golf apparel and like it wasn't like a traditional pro shop.
Yeah.
So they were only doing direct to consumer and they were only online. And then I think that, as you learn more about a business, you learn about like where is the customer, and a lot of the customers in golf are at a golf course and they belong to a golf club. Yeah. So I think that I'm assuming that is why a lot of these brands who were able to are now at the PGA Show because they want to be in golf shops. So like take Birdie Golf, for example. Birdie Golf, this was their first year having a booth at the show. And I hope, and I'm sure that they were, recognized by different pro shops, and hopefully those pro shops will now carry them in their stores because as you and I know very well, like the pro shop situation with carrying women's golf apparel brands is a journey, and
it's a troublesome.
It's a scary place. So I was very excited to see that more of these golf apparel brands were like, okay, like just like this is the industry, like this is the space that we need to be in if we want to continue to grow our brand awareness, and that was exciting to me. How about you?
Do you think that they really truly need to be in pro shops?
No.
In this online environment at this point?
I think that it depends probably on your business model. If you're like, and maybe they have like these aspirations of like, no, I really want to be in a pro shop and I want people to like feel like they can have their course logo on my clothes and whatever. Like the way that I shop for golf apparel is not in a pro shop. Sorry to the golf clubs I belong to.
Well, I think that we have gotten conditioned enough that it's just,
right.
Will I go into a golf shop or a pro shop thinking, I'm going to peek around and see if anything looks good?
Yeah.
I will, but I think we're conditioned at this point that it's just not where we find our best stuff.
100%.
Yeah. So
it's interesting. I was excited by it, and I'm certainly like curious what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other brands there really sparked your interest? Are there any that were brand new to you, or was it mostly some that you've known about but were just excited to see their brand expanding?
Yeah, I would say A. Putnam. It was exciting to see Allie Putnam's brand there. She has just really beautiful clothes.
Gosh,
the material is really,
that.
oh yeah, you'll definitely have to check them out. The material of the clothes is really nice. And everything was just like very, they did like a lot of neutrals for spring, but everything was just very pretty, which I liked. And then I always love seeing Jaybird. She's located here. Katie's
so
great. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was fun seeing, and I love her like capsule collection model.
Yeah.
That it was fun to see like her add a few pieces to it. And then, like I said, Birdie Golf. I've everything they had, I had seen before, and I own some of that stuff. So it was just like nice to see them. And then Fore Golf, she showed me, Megan, the owner of Fore, showed me some really pretty pieces that I'm excited about.
So I might have saw it actually on your reel that you did for the PGA show when you were at Fore Golf. First of all, they had the best booth.
It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, bravo for their creativity, execution, activation station with the flowers. Like, I just love seeing that creativity. And you could tell it represented the brand so well too. So I think it was your video that showed almost like a sequins jacket.
Erica Larkin.
Was it Erica Larkins?
I think she put it on.
Maybe Erica Larkins.
I love that we know whose is whose, but yes.
I was like, I don't think I'd ever wear this sequins jacket, but that is gorgeous.
It looked fabulous on her.
It really did.
She pulled out this lace bomber jacket that I was obsessed with. It was like blue floral lace. And I was like, I need that.
And you said the owner's name's Megan, right?
Yes.
I feel like I've probably chatted with her in the past, but how would you describe their brand?
I would say that she is very fashion forward, but has nailed the cut of women's golf apparel clothes. Like, the skirt is an A-line skirt, and it has, the waistband that people like. I think she has like nailed the women's golf skirt. So she puts a lot of attention into the fit of everything, but she's fashion forward with like the prints. They're not like, I don't know, the lack of a better word is like chuggy, but like they're not.
Well, I would say the prints that I love are definitely unique, but they're just, I don't know. Maybe they're just not geometric.
That's a great way to say it. So yes, very like tasteful floral prints, but also just like really fun. They're doing like a rugby shirt this year. Like how I just think that she is very much on top of trends. Her history is in fashion. So she is very on top of trends and what's going on internationally in fashion, and brings them to golf in a really nice way.
Did she grow up playing golf?
I think yes.
Okay.
But not like competitively.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was quite a booth. And just like you said, there was a number of booths. I mean, For All's booth was amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I mean,
they crushed it.
I just want to like go through the whole booth making process. I mean, where do you even start? I don't even, like, these women are so creative. It's so great.
And even if you had like a smaller footprint, I feel like people did a really good job. Like Purdy's was just like bright and like fun and cute. Yeah, I feel like people did. And then it was interesting, like Spanx had a huge booth.
And I somehow missed that too.
It was massive. Now, I will say, like, I didn't see anything I would wear on a golf course. So I don't know if it was more like court stuff. Pickleball?
Well, Spanx was there, supposedly. I didn't see it, but also Lululemon was there, and I thought that was really interesting. But then when I looked at Lulu's stuff, I was like, I don't even know if that's golf stuff either. Like, it's a lot of athlete.
Yeah.
Is it leisure?
Athleisure, yeah.
Is that what it's?
Yeah.
It sounds so weird.
I know.
Athleisure?
Yeah.
It's like I said it naturally, but then when I said it, I'm like, this can't be right. So it was interesting, but just knowing that Lululemon is definitely actively trying to get into this industry. And who was it? They just signed
Minwoo Lee, Minji Lee's brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they might have signed a female. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
I knew him.
Do you think that dress codes are going to start evolving as apparel evolves?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I don't think we're ever going to see it. It's so tough, right? Because public golf is different from private golf.
Yeah.
Public golf, like a lot flies.
Oh, I would say, most at least
flies.
Here, whatever you want to wear.
So
flies.
I think like, yes, definitely evolving. Like, I don't think anyone would really like look twice. I think depends where you go. Private courses, I don't know. Yeah.
Who knows? What else? What else is exciting you about women's golf right now?
Well, not to get like nerdy, but the World Handicap System has been updated for 2024.
No, I love it. Let's dive in. Yeah, what are the changes? Because obviously I saw, but I didn't really.
You can't hold me to all of these because
That's all right.
I'm not I work for the United States Golf Association, but I'm not on the handicapping team. So like they can speak much better to these things. Like, have you talked to Jenny Ford?
I haven't.
Okay. She's on the handicapping team.
Okay, well, first, because I didn't even mention that you worked for the USGA.
Yes.
So what do you do for the USGA?
I am in the marketing department. And so we support, all the different departments at the USGA. So this week I am here in town because the green section is here for the Golf Course Superintendents Association America conference.
And what are you guys going over at the superintendent's conference?
Yeah, so the green section has like a new product out. It's called the GS3 ball, and it's this ball that superintendents and greenskeepers can use to measure things like trueness of the green and smoothness and like all these other really fun things to make sure that the playing conditions are optimal. And it like makes their lives easier with using data. But as a marketing person, so I support different departments at the USGA, like membership and the green section, championships, of course, handicapping and gin. And so this week I'm here and I'm just trying to like learn a lot about what that audience asks. So like they ask questions about like how can agronomists help them because the USGA has like a staff of agronomists that can support them. So I'm really here to like observe and listen. And so that helps us with our future marketing activities. And I'll do the same thing at other types of events.
Yeah. And speaking of activations, you reminded me that I'm probably going to say it wrong, but the rewind.
My Gin Rewind.
My Gin Rewind.
Yes.
So because I am seeing it all over my Facebook pages.
Good.
So tell us what it's all about and where they can find it.
Yes. So if you have a handicap index and you've been posting your scores in the Gin app, then last week, early this week, you would have received a notification that has your My Gin Rewind presented by Century. And it has a recap of your, like where you started the year with your handicap index, where you ended the year, your best round, how many rounds you played and how many different courses, which is just like fun to look at. It's kind of like your Spotify Unwrapped, like, oh, this is what I listened to all year. And I think it's really fun. It's like something to like look at and like say like, okay, maybe like, I really want to try and play more rounds next year, or I want to be more like diverse in the types of courses I play.
Yeah.
So it's fun to look at, and you can just you can save it and then like post it on Instagram stories or
which
elsewhere.
you'll see that a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
And I remember last year when I looked at my Gin Rewind.
Yeah.
It had like some obscene number of different courses that I played. And that was actually what I was most proud of.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I played, let's just say it was 80 rounds of golf, but it was on 40 different courses. And I was like, wow, that actually I was really proud of. And, it gives your index traveling ability.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. So the World Handicap System had updates this year, and I can't speak to all of them, but the one that I was excited about that I like thought of when you reached out was that 9-hole scores can now be posted and they will be calculated for your handicap index. So before, if I went and I played a ton of 9-hole rounds because I say I'm not getting out of work until 5 and then I go over and play 9 holes. Like that's probably a lot. I'm curious if it's the majority of my rounds.
Yeah.
And I would have to wait until I played another 9-hole round for those scores to be added to my calculation, And now the calculations have changed so that my 9-hole score gets reflected into my handicap index the very next day. And I think for women who, I think that a lot of women who maybe are like newer to golf or are working professionals, like they're playing a lot of 9-hole rounds. So I think that now that it's being accurately reflected in your handicap index is
immediately.
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's nerdy, but I'm excited about it.
I wouldn't say it's nerdy. I think that's important.
I know. I'm like, it is important.
Any other changes that you can remember that? No. I know. It's okay.
I probably would. You just, you caught me off guard. I'm like, I could look them up, but no, it's me being a bad employee. But I think that was the one that I know a lot of us were really excited about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
How about anything going on in the championship side or anything, even event side that you are most excited about with women's golf? I mean, obviously the events and the communities that you can enter are growing and growing. So that's amazing. Anything that you've seen that you're just really proud of and you're like, okay, this is headed in the right direction?
I mean, like we talked about a little bit earlier, it's just like there are so many not even small. There are so many women's golf groups just popping up everywhere. And I think that's amazing because and hey, your women's golf group might just be you and your like 6 friends, but like that's going to continue to grow.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's really exciting. In the event space, I mean, on the professional side, it's going to be a fun year. I mean, our first 2 winners of the year were Lydia Ko and Nelly Korda. Like, you can't ask for much more than that.
I know. And actually, let's give them their due because I missed the last round of the LPGA tournament this past weekend, which was at Bradenton Country Club. Yep. And I heard that the battle between Nelly and Lydia going in the last couple holes and then they went to a playoff was epic.
So Nelly was leading, heading into the final round. She faltered a little bit on the back nine, but she finished with an eagle on 17 and a birdie on 18 to get into a playoff with Lydia Ko. Also at the same time, if Lydia Ko would have won that week, she would have been entered into the women's, the LPGA Hall of Fame because she would have had enough points to get in. So like, there's like
how it works
for the LPGA Hall of Fame. Yes, it's like very objective. There's a point system.
Interesting.
Yes. So this is already like exciting, right? And then I don't know how many playoff holes they had, maybe 2, but the first playoff hole, one of them hit into the grandstands and then they both made par and then they had to go back. And it was like, if we're going to get this all season, sounds great. Sign me up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that I'm excited about that. And then the major locations are good. The women are playing at the Old Course at St. Andrews for the AIG Women's Open, Lancaster Country Club for the U.S. Women's Open, which was awesome last time around. And then Sahali, which I don't know a whole lot about, is hosting the KPMG Women's PGA.
Where is that?
It is in the Pacific Northwest. I think Washington.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So like from like a professional golf, I'm like super pumped. There's a lot going on.
Where do you see, and if you don't have any opinion or want to stay off this topic, just tell me. But where do you see the LPGA's weaknesses? Why is it not as popular as it could be? What do they need to work on?
Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. I think that they need to work on it. I think they are working on like getting more people to the tournaments. Because I think what we always say is if you can get people to the tournaments, they do end up becoming a fan of the LPGA because the players are really generous with their time. Like they're always signing autographs and like just talking to people at the tournaments. And
you probably can get more up close and personal.
You can. And the play is incredible.
Yeah.
And so I think like trying to get more younger people to, because I think we've seen that wave. Like you see young people at PGA Tour events. Yeah. Why don't we see young people at LPGA Tour events? Is something I think that they should be working on. And I hope that they are. I'm sure they are. I definitely can tell a difference in how they're trying to market themselves like on social. They've definitely done a good job of like hiring content creators. There's this guy, Jeff Marsh, who I notice is like doing a lot of the photography and videography. And that type of stuff matters.
Yeah,
like,
does it?
Yeah. I mean, I think like you don't want it to look like lame.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah. Like you want it to look like cool.
Yeah.
Like you want it to be aspirational. And I think like working with people like him and like hiring other people that are going to like just elevate everything that they're doing is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the players feel an obligation to help grow the
I don't know.
tour too?
Yeah.
No?
That one I don't know. Like I just don't know.
Yeah.
I would hope. Yeah. They've always been super generous with their time. Like Alison Corpuz, I saw was on your podcast. She came on For the Ladies. And like, it was like a quick, hey, do you want to come on? Sure. Like,
of course.
And I think like that's amazing when players are just like really willing to put themselves out there and have conversations. And I think I think there's a good amount of players that do care. Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool. Like a few of them have been on the broadcast recently, which I think is like talking on the broadcast once their round is over.
Yeah.
Like Marina Alex did it recently. Jessica Korda, while she's pregnant, did it 1 week at the end of last year. And I think like that's important too, like getting their brands out there. Mm-hmm. So
I can't imagine being any professional athlete, let alone a golfer. I mean, any tennis player, anything, swimmer, and being a woman and wanting to start a family and having to weigh that with continuing to play, or do I take a break and have a family and then go back and hopefully can just
peak performance.
Exactly.
All over again.
Exactly. Like I can't imagine how that might weigh. I mean, I guess it's the same in business too.
Sure.
You know, you can be working and you definitely still have to get pregnant and you take time off and do all that, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like who would be a good recent example.
I mean, Brittany Lincecum.
Yep.
Stacey Lewis. Paula Kramer.
Yep.
Is that how you say her last name?
Yeah.
Kramer. Yeah. God, everything is sounding foreign to me.
It's fine.
I'm like, wait, is it the same as the Seinfeld character? Yeah. Okay.
And then Jessica Korda, like I'll be curious like what her career holds.
Mm-hmm. Because it's, you never know what happens as a woman when you have a baby and what you want to do after that. You know, things can change and you might never want to pick up a golf club again and stay home, or you might get the itch and go back out, but God, you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing that us strong women have to think about.
Yeah.
You know, makes it a little more complex. Okay, how about let's round it off with golf courses, golf equipment. Is there anything that you've seen out there that really encouraged you? And
I got fit recently.
How was that experience?
It was awesome. I loved it. Because I got my clubs, like I got some of the clubs already. And I'm like, this is great. I'm going to be so good this year.
It's not the best. But how was it? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about getting fit, because I do think that changing women's perspective on getting fit about, you know, if you're feeling like you're not good enough to get fit for custom clubs, or, you know, you have to be a certain handicap index, or you have to be shooting consistently in the 90s, or, you know, my husband says I'm not good enough for that. All of those excuses, we need to throw them away, because having clubs that are fit for you, fit for your game, fit for your swing, no matter if your swing changes, will provide a much better golf game, and you'll be able to enjoy it even that much more, because you're playing with clubs that are made for you. Mm-hmm. So how was your experience from start to finish going in? Like this past fitting? So
I'm assuming, I think this is pretty relatable. I was nervous because I got fit in the fall and I wasn't playing as much as like I was in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm not at my like peak performance for the season. I don't think this is going to go well. Yeah. Or what if I, you know, duff a bunch of shots and then he's not able to gather like the information he needs to put together my set.
Exactly. Or you get fit for a set that you think is with all your bad swings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was nervous about that. But the day of, I went to the range like 30 minutes prior, because you had a ton of golf balls. Yeah. So like you really shouldn't play around before it. Certainly.
Yeah. You don't want to, you want to go in thinking it's going to be a workout. So save your energy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally. So, and I did the full bag. So I would say once I was just like hitting clubs and like just like getting into it, it's a fun thing to do. And I think the piece of advice I would give is like ask a lot of questions, like have a full on conversation. Like it doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, that's always my miss. Mm-hmm. Like I want to know, okay, like if we're going to switch to this, then what is the next club I need in my bag to make sure I don't have a gap in yardages. So for me, for example, I had 3 metal woods in my bag. I had a 3, a 5, and a 7.
Okay.
And the fitter, he said, you know, I don't think you need 3 woods, because if we're going to get you to your driver to this yardage, and then you're only going to be able to go so far until you're hitting like your driver and one of these woods the same distance almost, just like from my with my ability.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
And so he was like, we can take one of these woods out of the bag. And then if like, hey, if you want another wedge, then you have that opportunity. Because I was saying I personally had a gap in my wedges where like I didn't feel like I had any club when I needed to hit a 70 to 80 yard shot. I was like, I don't have anything. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that like helped us figure that out. And that was like, I wanted to have those conversations. Like it wasn't, I tried to just ask like, I wasn't so concerned about like, what shaft is this? And I just want to know like, how far can I hit this? What is kind of like the range of yardages I'm going to get with this club? Yeah, this is my miss. And like, I'm going to continue to have it sometimes, but like if it can fix it a little bit, great. So I try to have a lot of conversations during it, which I think also makes it go by a little faster.
Yeah. And probably makes you more comfortable.
It did.
Because just like you said, I do get nervous too. And I'm actually going into a fitting on Friday. Nice. And you do, and it's for wedges. And so these past 2 practice sessions, I've really been working on my wedges because it's like, I don't want to go into this fitting and not hit the ball well. But I also know that it really doesn't matter.
Right. It's a mix. Yeah.
They don't care. They're not judging you.
No.
All they're looking at is the numbers, and all they want to do is fit you for the club that's best for you.
Yeah. It was interesting because I had asked on Instagram, I was like, what questions do you have about fitting? I had quite a few people ask, like, how do I not get, like, scammed? And I was like, that's, like, a very fair question because you're about to spend at least $1,000 on clubs. And, like, no, you don't want to get scammed. Yeah. So I always remind people, like, you don't have to buy the clubs that day. Yeah. Like, you can think about it, get your specs, like take a minute. You can always like get a second opinion. But at the end of the day, a lot of the places where you go get fit as well, like they're going to use the cost of the fitting toward your set.
Yeah.
So they don't really want to like scam you. They want you to like purchase the clubs. They want you to love them because eventually they want you to come back and get fit again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want you to have a good experience. And so that is interesting though. I mean, obviously I have heard that too, but it is a fear. It is like a kind of when we go take our car into the oil change and they tell us numerous items that
you need a new filter.
Yeah.
Like, do I though?
Yeah. Like, okay, fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I remember one year in high school, they sold me on some like special synthetic oil that was not for my car at all.
Of course.
And ended up like ruining like some engine components, like totally like, and I didn't know.
Right.
It's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. I know. So I'm excited about clubs that I'm getting fit for, which is great. I didn't really look around, and this is something I do not really toy with, and I kind of want to this year, are like training aids. I don't have a single training aid.
Oh my God, I love the stack system.
I don't know what that is.
You don't?
No, I don't know. The only one that I really want to get right now is like a putting mirror.
Oh yeah, I love a putting mirror too. No, these could be my 2 favorite training aids ever. Okay, so my putting mirror, first of all, every time I use my putting mirror, and I talk about like setting it up on the putting green, putting my tees in it, and then doing like 30 to 50 short putts. And not even thinking about it, just letting my stroke get straightened out and feel the ball going into the hole. Every time I use that, the next round, I putt so well.
Nice.
And just like, it's like less wiggly woos going in the backswing. You know how when you're watching your putting stroke go in the backswing and it's like moving all over the place? So it just really helps with that. So it just visually, it feels like it's hitting the center of the club face.
Okay.
And then the stack system is for club speed.
Okay.
And it is the greatest thing about the stack system is the technology that goes along with it. It's like a workout program, but it's made specifically for you. And the algorithms that are like in the back of the software, they're taking your swing speed and the program that you want to do and making it specifically for you. And they'll tell you when to do the next workout. And they give you break periods while you're doing the workout. And it's like between 15 and 20 minutes each session. And it just keeps you engaged. It's like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, I just broke my record from last week. Oh, okay. Oh, this is my projected swing distance from that swing. It's just...
Oh, that's crazy.
It is super interesting. And I mean, that one is an investment, but
Yeah.
I love it. And I think that the hardest thing with swing trainers and training aids is that you're not engaged. Like you buy it and it just collects dust, or you go use it one time.
That's my
and
fear.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
And because let's face it, it's not that much fun.
No.
So you have to
yeah.
stay engaged somehow. You have to see results somehow.
Yeah.
And I love a putting mirror and I love my stack system.
That's the one little extra thing I'll probably do this year.
And it's not too swing technique.
No. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I tried to change my swing this summer. I couldn't follow through. It was like 3 months. It was torture, and I just had to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Like it's okay.
It's fine.
Like let's just practice chipping and putting, and we'll fix
The
it.
rest will fit.
We'll neaten up the scores that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to be excited about. But
Yeah, there really
the show
is.
was fun. It's always cool to see, you got to respect like the hustle of people who are like building their own like creations and inventions and trying to get people to buy them. Like
Exactly. And so
respect.
to wrap it up, you working in the marketing department of the USGA, what is your goal going into the PGA show? What is your intention? What are you looking for?
So this year I went for the Ladies because I spoke on a panel.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes. So that was awesome. The panel was about just how do you grow the player once you get somebody in your door and playing at your golf course. How do you keep them? How do you keep them engaged? So it was a really fun conversation. Roger Steele moderated it. And it was all about like developing programming and how do you continue to market to people who come through your golf course, especially if like you're limited on resources. How do you like be curious about the people coming in? Like how do they find your golf course? And asking all those types of
Really
questions.
interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. So that was why I went to the show. So I didn't really have like a mission. That's why, I mean, it was kind of fun because I just like wandered about afterward. But typically I would say when I'm at the show, I'm just like trying to see people. It's like great to get FaceTime.
Yeah, see face to face. And
Yeah.
that was actually the general feel I got from like the guys over at Titleist and other companies. They're like, it's just nice to see the people that you're always talking to on the phone in person.
Exactly.
And that's why it was so nice to have you here today.
look
In
at
person
that.
on the pod with
Yes.
the mics.
Yes. No, it was great. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. You are doing an amazing job out there.
Thank
We as a female golf community as a whole are so lucky to have you, other groups like you out there
Thank you.
putting their time and energy in these events and clinics and get-togethers so that it allows the golfer that might not know a lot of people or want to get into the sport a very safe environment to come in.
We're
So
very lucky that there's
we
a
are
good
lucky.
group of us.
And
Yes.
it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. And it, again, like you said before, it could just be you and your 6 friends out that do a weekly game. I can't tell you, when I really dove into women's golf, my Friday girls group, which was 8 of us, that was like my most favorite day of the week.
Yeah.
And we teed off late in the afternoon, played 18 holes, went and had dinner and drinks after. It was the best.
Yeah.
So it could just be that, and that is amazing.
Perfect.
Thanks, Abby, for
Thank
being
you.
on. We will continue to follow your journeys.
Thank you.
All her information for the Ladies is in the show notes, so check it out. Thanks, Abby.
Thanks.